in your Deah Samach Tes Sif Chaf in Chus Melicha. Kosher Basar, Basar Shedimlach V'Shar Kedei Melicha. Basar that was salted and it finished its Melicha. And it's Nasnu Achrach B'Kli Below Hadacha, and you put it into a Kli without Hadacha. We had this case before. The Ramah said you put it down there just very short time, it's okay. However, if you put it down and left it there, and you smell it mitzir, and then you see that it kept on, it kept putting out liquid. Mutter, that's okay. We don't. That's already once it's asked to shir melicha, even though it's a cliche in a manukav. That tzir doesn't that won't answer it. If he's a basar shenafal because the dam's out. If he's a basar shenafal soch tzir hayotze meha basar, any other pieces of meat which will fall into this tzir ach shashar kadei melicha, right? Mutter, because as we say there's no, the dam's gone. Yesh misha oiser. And some say, in either case, it's also because even though it was sheer melicha, but until you stop the nikvei plata, you stop the thing from being pulled tzir, that's it's still going to have dam. It's still going to have some sort of dam in it, and therefore we're machmer. Afilu b'di'evid, and the Ramah says no. There are those that aser it afilu even b'di'evid, because they hold that this tzir, the Shach says, is like shar tzir, and it's roseach, and there's still dam juice in there or whatever dam. Then and therefore it can goes back into the meat, klei klipa, and it's problematic. Afilu b'di'evid klei klipa, right? The Ramah says only klei klipa, right? So therefore, if you would peel off the outside, that's okay. V'hachi nog, v'dafka mashemunach b'soch hatzir, v'mashechutz hatzir shari. Like we had the case before that that's only something which is inside the tzir. But dam never goes up. It goes down. It never goes up into the piece, even with if there's shuman, and therefore we're only going to answer that which is in the tzir. Here, the Ramah was machmir in the case before, but here he's not machmir because it's already a chumrah. Again, we're treating this tzir as like regular tzir of dam. Therefore, the kli where you put the thing in there and it's mali tzir, then it does become ulcer. V'cheinim haya kli choleves. So too, if you have a milchuk kli, yesh bo lichloch, and you forgot to wash out the you forgot to wash out the kadishes or whatever, and you went ahead and you quickly you threw the meat into there and it was mali tzir. Also, the meat becomes also mitam basar b'chalav. The acher shim lichal. So even after shim lichal, so nechshav kiroseach. That we say that the tzir is still nechshav kiroseach, and if it's roseach, then it's mavliya. So it takes. So and again, it's only if there's lichluch, a milchuk kli. It's not the melech is not going to go ahead and pull out the wall, milchuk, chalavi out of the walls of the kli and put it into the meat. But if there's actual be'en, if there's actual like kadashis or something like that there, then it will combine and put the melicha, the tzir maluach, will put the milchiks into the basar, and it's going to be aser.
Is it also only a klipa?
So I'm not sure. I think that I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We're gonna get into impossible cholav about melicha a bit more with shari surim. Um, I think in general we're machmer. At least Ramaz machmer in general not to make chalukim, and we just say the whole thing by meliach kiroseach. But I'm not sure. About imu hesem meruba. Yes, begam ken tzarchus mitzvah. If it's a hefsem meruba, and you also you have the sus mitzvah, you're making a chasna, and you have a bunch of guests, so yeah, therefore they need it. You're inviting the Rosh Yeshiva are coming, so we have to be makel on the yisurim for them. I don't know, whatever. True that it's true, but I don't know if you have to tell them. But the akofanim, it's a hefsem meruba or whatever, then you can we say that the tzir is not after shir melicha, like the mechaber is not roseach. Yesh lahakel v'lomer da'ach sheshar shir melicha l'mechshav tzir keroseach. All right, v'lefi dvarav Aval b'shishah habasar b'melach kashir also le'echol mimenu ad sheyidichenu yafe yafe. And according to this, even if the basar sat for 18 minutes or an hour, whatever it is, it also le'echol mimenu ad sheyidichenu yafe yafe. You can't eat. You want to eat it raw, let's say, even cooked. You can't eat from it until you madich yafe yafe because we still say there's dam coming out and it's roseach and it's kili reading dam. But also lachtoch imenu v'sakin kodem she'adichen. You can't start chopping it up to do hadacha. And if you go ahead and you use that knife, we'll need hadacha. We'll need hagala because the melech is roseach and there's dam and also dukkha the sakina also whatever, and all those things will make it that you be chayv to hagala. Hagala yish matirin. I'm nice. Hagala yish matirin lachtuch b'sachin la'acher sheshaha shir melicha. There are those who say no, it is mutter to go ahead and cut with the knife after it's shoah shir melicha. We're not going to be machmir ad kadei kach. The ein melicha lekelim, because we hold ein melicha lekelim chen ikr de mutter is the true sadeshan that the Rama is makel, not mitam. He's machmer that okay, in general the tzir is going to be roseach, but when it comes to kelim ein melicha lekelim, you can't. It's not gonna. It doesn't. Unless we're machmer. If you went ahead and salted meat in the klisha ein manukav, because it's like it's very salty and straight dam, and it's sitting in the juices or whatever. But stam, we don't say, if you would go ahead and you would salt two pieces, an isser and a heter, whatever it is, it wouldn't, or you salted a piece of isser in a bowl, we don't say, well, the kli becomes also. Sakin tzarich hadacha. However, the sakin you need to wash it acher kach on the itza bekarka im nisyabsha alav tzir. You need to wash off the knife from the juices of the from the tzir, or if you left it to dry, then you're going to need to go ahead and do the itza bekarka. You stick it into hard ground to get off the shuman. There's a discussion if you use like a steel wool or a thing that could be that's good. That's also good. The point is that you have to scrape it. You have to scrape it well and clean it off, and scrape it off well. Vafilu kodem shir melicha ena iser mishum hasakin ela mishum sheyatza dam be'en. The iser is not because of duchlich sakina, and not because that it's going to go ahead and create push tzir more or whatever. Ela mishum sheyatza dam be'en al habasar. It's because by melicha dam actually dam comes out on the surface of the meat. In roitzel lahadichai. So therefore, the issue is that if you cut it, All right, so then that on that surface, it's still being pulled tzir, and dam be'en is going to end up on the surface. And you're gonna do shvi and do hadacha afterwards. You can put it into a bowl of water, and you have dam be'en, and then you have a problem. It's not because of the dukkha de sakina. It's not because the force of the knife, causes an issue. The kushirodsim la'asais.
What does that mean? In road say.
Hmm.
In road say.
No. Mutter, right? It's well, unless you do tzli, whatever. I'm saying if you want to go ahead and do melicha again in that spot, then you can do that and redo it if you want. Ksheroitzim lasas basar meliach lihiskayim laach shasha b'malcho b'kli menukov. If you want to go ahead and make you want to make, I don't know, you want to make deli. I don't know. You want to have jerky. I don't know, whatever. You want to make salted meat. These skyim. You want to salt it enough that, or it's for kiyum. The achar shasha b'malcho b'kli menukov kashir haroi. After you went ahead and you have salted meat, proper salted meat, and you want to go ahead and salt. Now you want to go ahead and salt it even more so that it preserves it. First, you need to go ahead and you need to go ahead and wash it off well, as according to again the chachila of the mechaber. You don't just say, well, we're just it's already salted shir melicha. I'm just going to add extra salt because that salt is balua from dam. So you need to go ahead and do hadacha first, and then you can go ahead and salt it after. I feel the cliche menukov. You need a cliche menukov. Once you do hadacha, you can salt it. You're not choshish that there's still a bit of dam left and it come out not choshish, and you can do it in a regular kli and it's fine. Feel if he's farazu, even according to the chumra shita. If you imroitzelim loch relechol tzli below hadacha. Let's say you want to go ahead and salt, and you want to you roasted the meat, and now you want to salt it for to preserve it. Below hadacha, you're allowed to do that.
You didn't roast it yet.
No, sorry. Sorry, I made a mistake. If you want to salt meat before you roast it. You salt it, right? And then you want to go ahead and you want to make it tasty. I don't know, you put a bunch of salt on, and then you're gonna roast it to get the blood out below hadacha, or you roast it or you salted it, and you want to just roast it without hadacha. Either way, below hadacha, you're allowed to do that. In this case, you're not worried about the dam which is on the salt which is in the melach. The dam which is in the melach which is on the basar. Because the fire is going to go ahead and pull off the salt and the dam in the salt. When they are melach dam, it's going to stop the melach from putting of being mavliya of inserting pushing the dam back into the meat.
Milivloa here means lehavlia or livloa?
To put it. Sorry. I think it means to put it back in. That's the chashash. If there's melach on the salt, and without hadacha. Right, I guess so. Dam from. I guess if you salted it, the case over here, it's a little bit. I think the case is the truth. It's a little bit confusing. The Lashonis is a bit confusing. I think right. Could be what it's saying over here is you salt it for tzli, not and you're not choshesh that the salt's gonna go ahead and is gonna you didn't do hadacha afterwards. The salt's gonna have dam in it, and then it's gonna go ahead and the tzli's gonna pull out. The fire's gonna pull out the dam, but the salt's gonna you didn't wash off the salt, so you're gonna have salt with dam in it. We're not choshesh for such a thing. Because the it doesn't stop like the fire, the ash was gonna pull is gonna take all the dam out. It's not gonna get stuck in the melach or anything like that. Again, because we're talking about the case you salted it, roasted it, you didn't wash off the salt. So it's also salt over here. And we say it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't get it doesn't the salt was not belayed, correct.
The
But honey,
fire will pull out the salt from the fire will pull
well,
out
all all the dam out. Right. V'hani mili b'malcho u'malei l'tzi. It's a time where you salted it and then you put it up to roast, the barbecue, whatever it is. About imsha b'malcho. However, if you left it, this way you salted it and put it right up to tzli. However, if you salted it and then you let it sit, hamelech bolei adam. V'nesar, and this melach now becomes aser. Lefichach medicha yafa yafa v'tzola va'oicha. Therefore, you need to go ahead and you have to wash it off, or, at the before you can do tzliya. Meaning, if you did melicha and you realize, you started doing melicha, I'm just going to roast it, right? So if it was started, we had the case before. If it started being pullet, a little bit of tzir, then already the salt becomes aser, and then roasting it's not going to do anything. But if you salted it and then started roasting it, then we're not choshish that I guess as the salt's going to be poil is going to work together with the fire, and the salt's going to absorb dam, and you didn't wash it off because they say the fire pulls everything out, and disregard and you should disregard the salt. Right. So we're gonna get to Hilchos Tzli more in Simin Ayin Vav. Sifchaf Aleph, b'makom she'ein melach matzui, when there's no melach which is matzui, right? Yitzlu habasar, ad sheyazoiv kol dama v'achach yivashluhu. I mean, it seems to be a more bidiyah that the chachila you shouldn't do tzli if you want to cook it. That's what seems to be, that's the lashon. B'makom she'ein melach. If you want to eat it tzli, eat it tzli. If you want to cook it afterwards, we'll see, and I involved more. But it's saying that if you have no salt, you can go ahead and you can roast it at shiyazov kol damo, and then you can cook it. Now, in order to go ahead and to cook it, the sheer tzliya, the Taz said, the Taz brings the machlokes rishonim. The Ran says it's k'meichel dusai, which is again shlish or chetzi, which is barely, we would say is barely edible. The Rashba says it has to be very lachir l'roiv bnei adam, which is at least chetzi. It has to be at least chetzi cooked. Now, so you have a question. You want to have a roast or a steak, and you want to have it rare. So is that I like it very rare. Is that okay? It could be according to the Ran, it would be okay. Michael ben Dusai, I don't know. According to the Rashba, it has to be something which most people will eat, which then has to be medium rare, something like that.
What's the case here? It was roasted first?
No, roast. You want to kosher it by roasting.
You don't have any salt.
So that you're kosher. This is hechsher tzli, right? What do you do with the hechsher tzli? So therefore, the question is, how much do you have to go? What's the shear to matter it? How well done does the meat or the chicken have to be? Right. So what shear is that? What's the shear? Right.
You don't want to dry it. You don't want it to burn it.
So that's also the gear for liver, for anything, whatever. So.
You want to infer from this that lechatchila is supposed to do malicha versus tzli?
No, if you want to cook it afterwards. I'm questioning. We'll have to get to Ayin Vav. Says
He's eliminating, saying there's no substitute for salt. That's what I thought.
Right, it's saying makom she'ein melach matzui. You don't have salt, and you want to cook it, so then you can then you can roast it. If you want to eat it roasted, I don't think I don't think it's a problem. The question is here: you want achach yivashlu, you want to cook it. And the question is that maybe if you cook it afterwards, is that good enough? Is it not? Is it going to pull them all out?
If you're not going to cook it, you could make it even less.
I don't know, because that's. I don't think.
It was the dam that started to come
If it's well, the Michael ben Josai means that. What do you mean?
According to the Rashba, if you did it just kamata b'drosai, can you eat it like that? Is there a problem?
It's a problem. Yeah, it would be. Oh, if you want to eat it without bishul, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm making a deal. I'm not sure. Well, again, the dinim are more in ayin vav, so we'll get there more. Here is just touching upon it, but here the Taz talks about the shir tzliya and the shir tzli. But the Taz says really the thing you should is the marshal. You should go ahead and you should it has to be that it's dry on the outside, meaning it's not still dripping. It's not still dripping. It doesn't have to be burnt. So therefore, even if it's a big piece of meat, but as long as it's not, a thick roast, well, it's not, it doesn't mean you brown it. Doesn't mean you flash roasted and and it means brown and browned. It means that it's not dripping anymore, and that would be a sign that there's no more dam coming out, and that you could be samachan. So even if you want to go ahead and eat, therefore, if you want to go ahead, and that's the task you should be knowing. So therefore, if you want to go ahead and you want to have a very rare steak or whatever, you shouldn't go ahead and you shouldn't just roast it. You would need to go ahead and you should do melicha and then roast it. Again, b'diavad, there are different things or whatever, but that's the shear is that it's not dripping anymore. So by liver also we'll see about roasting liver later on, but also it's the same idea. There has to be that the ash was that was pole enough that you see at the dam stop. Fine. Ayin. Molchim harbe chatichas zu agav zu. You are allowed to go ahead and to salt a bunch of pieces of meat one on top of the other. Aval b'shatachton gomeres pleitalsa kodem le'elyona. Even if, let's say, the bottom piece is smaller and it stops being polate before the top one, and maybe the dam from the top one now is going to go into the bottom one and aser. Lo mina shechazeres u'balas v'dam elyona. We don't say that it's boleh from the top piece of meat. Fishu hushar harbe liflo tzir, because it keeps on being polate tzir, even if it's not polate dam, but it's polate tzir. V'chol zman shepoletis tzira eno bolas, as long as it is being polate, the tzir is coming out, then it's not boleh. It doesn't absorb from another dam from another piece of meat, or anything else. Even if a lot of tzir, there's like a depression in the meat, and there's a whole bunch of tzir sitting on top of the bottom one. Mutter, that's what you're doing. Basar in basar, but feel basar shor in basar gedim and talaim, even if it's basar shor, which takes longer, and or with sheep or with whatever lamb of afilu im oifos, even with chickens. Shir shalahem ligmor kol pleitas tziran ad sheyigmor basar shor liflo is dama, because we say that it doesn't, that all the tzir is still going, it's not going to absorb. Hagav mikol makom noagin lahachel chachila shekol chatika sheisha beis kibul kondoifin shlema. If there's a spot where there's a depression or whatever, and you see that tzir is gathering, so you should go ahead and flip it. Don't worry about it. In the factories, there's like a conveyor belt that takes like a half hour for it to go, and it flips it, and the chickens and stuff, and whatever, that they all get turned over as they're going. If you salted a piece of meat twice, it's okay. Melach hasheni mavliya adam anishar mimelicha harishayna. We don't say that it's going to go ahead and absorb from the original melicha. We'll stop here in the middle because it's a long sif.